We'll bring this meeting to order. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's true. Mayor Mason,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Billingsley,
Present.
Councilor Curry, here, Councilor Howell,
Here.
Councilor Humber.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have one request from the audience, and I will turn the floor over to Mr. Greg Cott.
Good evening, council. Clerk, pro tem, village administrator. My name is Greg Battershell. I've lived here in the valley for 22 years, full time. This council and board right here has done more to correct a long-term maintenance problem that's been in-house since at least 2012.
2012.
2012 and 2013, there was a severe winter in which a motor and pump seized up, and a wrong motor and pump were advised to be installed. Besides that, the timing was off on it, and the man meter found that out, didn't know what the minus 23 degrees was. That causes a major problem, particularly in the water system. These things have to be lined up so that you get your output flow, which will tear up streets and everything else in the meantime. So you have finally found the problem and corrected it. Everybody ought to give you credit for that. Whoever ends up mayor is gonna have a whole lot easier job, because you're gonna have employees that are gonna be able to see something accomplished rather than do the same thing over and over and never get it done right. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any announcements or proclamations? Any governing body reports? Then we'll go straight to the manager's report. Manager Matei.
Mayor and council, I just have a couple of things both regarding finance. We think we got through the budget and everything is quieting down. Now we gotta work on the audit. We have a status meeting tomorrow with our auditors and consultants regarding the progress that we're making on providing information for the audit. We are anticipating being clean and being on time. That's our report card, and it's actually a little more valuable than the budget. So that is moving along. The other thing that I wanted to talk about in finance is what we're doing in the interim, even without a finance director. And it's not limited to finance. What we're trying to do in general is trying to decentralize the base of knowledge. For example, if you have a finance director that is very knowledgeable, but does not share that with the staff, does not empower them or enable them to do additional work and expand their knowledge and even their careers, then we end up in a situation where that knowledge just goes out the door with the person. We have, for example, one person that is enrolled in the New Mexico Edge program to become a certified public finance professional. That involves taking courses in fund and governmental accounting, in financial statement preparation, in the handling of cash, and the structure of internal controls. Those are skills that are valuable in any organization, but in this particular curriculum, they are geared towards government. So even without a finance director, we are developing the staff that we have. We are also cross-training within departments and across departments, so that there's always an alternative to a person. It does a couple of things. It secures the village operations, and it's a motivator. It provides people the opportunity to expand their knowledge and provides for advancement, which is always a good thing. Ideally, you would have almost all of your employees, from the village manager on down, that were residents of the area and not passing through. I'm not passing through, by the way. I have my voter registration in my pocket if anybody wants to see it. But the goal is to develop stability, always, because there is gonna be turnover at the manager levels, at the council level, at the department head level. But if you have people that are actually doing the work, that can continue to do it, and in a lot of cases, train their supervisors, that's what happens, then you can have good continuity in government and consistency in your policies. That's one thing that we're finding, that we haven't been consistent in our policies. So it's not a matter of weeks, it's months, but we're getting there. That's my report, ma'am.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
So when is this new audit due?
It's due to the state auditor's office. I think it's December the 15th.
Thank you.
Real quick, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
We talked last meeting about having that budget meeting. Do we have any idea when that may occur?
No, we're gonna wait to schedule that based upon our approval that we get on the budget. But I knew you were gonna ask me, Counselor, so I have a draft that I'm just gonna keep right here of a formatted report that has line items. It has prior year budget, 2 years ago, prior year budget last year, current year budget, prior year expenditures, current year expenditures, and a variance at the end. This one will probably be the starting point. They'll evolve as you see them and as you develop the information that you want. This is all in one, and I'm sure it'll change, but I thought we would start off with everything and then kind of pare it down to what's relevant. Again, and this also does not have encumbrances, which affects budget availability. So it's gonna be an ongoing thing, but we'll have options ready once our budget is prepared. Is it approved, sir?
Thank
So,
you.
Manager, are we still working with Michael, the consultant?
Yes, he will be assisting us in our financial statement preparation, because there is a conversion from governmental accounting to full accrual accounting as required for the audit. And it's from governmental to GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles. There's adjustments for that. For example, we don't on a daily basis record what our accounts payable is. For GAAP, we have to. So he'll be assisting us in preparing our adjusting entries for the year end for that conversion in our financials. Excuse me. And from there, we can hand over our final financial statements to the auditor to be audited, because they have to be converted. We're gonna move more towards making those adjustments ourselves. There are a lot of them that I could do today if I had to, but there are some that take iterations and research. For example, depreciation. We have to take our additions and deletions and update our schedule of fixed assets, compute depreciation on what was there as of June 30th. So those are some of the things that we have to do. The short answer is yes, we're still gonna have Michael's help.
Thank you. We'll go into staff reports. And the first one is Clerk Fox.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Council, so I just wanted to bring a few items to your attention today. One of them was August 29th. We had a bloodborne pathogen training that I stepped in to help get people certified in through the municipal league. Normally, Amy Norheisen from Water, she's our safety director, I want to call her, or inspector or instructor, usually does it, but I stepped in and helped her do that. We got about 10 employees certified in that, a couple of police officers, most of them were from solid waste, and then a few from the admin building here. I believe they're gonna do forklift training next, and that was all offered through the municipal league. And then secondly, I have been working for the past 5 months to redesign our website. We get a new redesign every 4 years. It's in our contract at no cost. So I haven't gotten any, I've had several meetings already with just kind of how we want it to look, being more user-friendly, just with the homepage itself, so people don't have to go through multiple pages of searching for things. I'm hoping by the end of this year, I'll have something to go live with. So.
Thank you. And next we'll have a report from Chief Lewis.
Wasn't your vehicle function?
Thank you.
Somebody down on the parking. Went off by the Dean, Madam Mayor, members of council, manager, clerk, Bob's. For you have my staff report from last month. Calls for service for the month, we had 28 calls for service. Citations, we had 25 citations for the month. And for arrests, we had 3 arrests for the month, which is our pretty standard, is 3 to 4 is our average. We had a DUI, we had a warrant, and then a probation violation. And then on the last page, news for the PD. Mark 43 was here on site at the very end of the month, and we got everything installed. We got launched on Mark 43, which is the new record management system for the police department. So far, everything's running good. We have 2 more elements to implement with that, which is the integration between leads and integration between tracks, which I'll cover here in a minute. Once we get those 2 operational, they'll be integrated into record management, meaning they speak to each other. So anything we run on leads or run on tracks can be auto-generated into our record management system automatically. So we're waiting on those 2 systems. Officer Fitch's last day was Sunday. We are going to be doing a luncheon for him. We haven't established what day because we're kind of working around his schedule because he has some stuff going before he departs town. I had a meeting with Leeds yesterday. Leeds is a criminal justice system. It's a pretty complicated system, but it's very useful for law enforcement. You can pretty much run individuals throughout the country, or run individuals and it runs them throughout the country. So if they've had interactions or had cases, it includes pawn shops, pawn sales. If pawn shops are reporting there's objects, the people are coming into hawk and they report them like they're supposed to be. Those get put into the system. Then if we have stolen property, we run the person or run the objects, either way, then it comes back and we can do this for the entire country. So we have a 2-week trial period that starts basically pretty much today. After the 2-week trial period, we decide whether we like the system and want to proceed with the system. We have 1 unit out right now. It's up at Phil Long. It's got emergency brake issues. So we're trying to get that unit addressed and get it back into service. Lieutenant Strickland attended the FBI NAA Mastering Leadership Challenges course. That's the 2nd class of 3. He has yet to schedule the 3rd class, but once he completes that, that'll be his trilogy for the NAA portion. Officer Fitch attended the FBI LEADA SLI, which is the 1st class of the trilogy for the FBI LEADA class.
And Lieutenant Strickland has also already attended that, and he is about to attend the CLI, which is leg 2 of the trilogy for the FBI LEDA course. Tracks, which is our e-citations, everything's been submitted to the state NMDOT. That's at no cost to the village. They supply the software, they supply the equipment, the printer, the scanner. The only thing we have to do is supply the computers, which I already took care of. So they have everything in-house now. We're waiting on them to give us a rollout date to implement it here with us. And then we'll be moving forward with electronic citations as well, which is nice on so many different levels. One is reporting, because everything's automatic now. It also does the crash report system, is internal, so it's all electronic crash reports, no longer paper stuff like 1965. So that hopefully will be coming out soon. I was in contact with them last week. They said they were still working on uploading because we had to provide all of our city ordinances and everything that we charge here locally had to be given to them to upload into the system. The state stuff's already there. It's from all the state agencies and stuff, so that's no big deal. We did receive approval for funding from the State Law Enforcement Recruitment Fund. This funds to fund officer positions for upwards of 3 years, starting at 100%, then reduced to 50, then to 25. We did receive enough funding for 2 positions. I'll jump down to the bottom one real quick. The recruitment ads have been posted. At this time, we've had no applicants. We had one person take the PT test, but they were not successful in the PT exam, so they didn't move forward because that's part of the requirement is to pass the PT exam on the first, and then they can get the application. So he's supposed to be retesting again. Haven't heard a date yet. I don't even know if he's set up a date yet with Officer Hicks. And then the biennium training that we're required by the state, we have, for most part, have it all completed. There's one class, actually there's 2 classes that are in person. One is scheduled for this week. The other one is dealing with mentally ill, and that I spoke with Marshall Johnson in Red River. He has them coming in at the end of November, and they're going to be teaching everything in Red River. So he's invited us to come catch that one class over in Red River, and then we'll have our biennium for the year completed. So, I stand for any questions.
Couple real quick, Chief.
Yes.
You talked about that LEADS program and it's a 2-week trial period. What
Yes.
would it cost if you chose to present it to move forward with?
The premium package, their best package, which is called LEADS Live. I don't remember exactly to the penny, but it was $8,000 something a year. 8,000 and change a year. Then it goes down from there to the lower packages. But LEADS Live is the one you want because it's the one that's interactive nationwide. Anybody entering anything into that system, it's immediate. So we see everything on our end.
Where the ads been posted for the?
So I'm glad you asked that. I meant to mention that. So the ads have been posted with International Association Chiefs of Police, our Facebook page, our LinkedIn page, policeone.com. And then I think I still need to send them to Keith to have Keith put them back on the village again, and Municipal League, which we had them on there before. So we have them out there quite a few different. And the other ones like our LinkedIn and Police One, IACP, those are all nationwide. So those push it out. And I get those emails every single morning for job advertisements. They come into my computer and they come in from all over the United States.
Great.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm not aware of any committee reports. Do we have any? No? We have no old business, so we'll go right into new business. First is a discussion approval of resolution 2023-54, a resolution requesting the approval to authorize the execution and delivery of a water project fund loan grant agreement by and between New Mexico Finance Authority and the Village of Angel Fire. Is there a motion, please?
I make a motion for discussion approval of resolution 2023-54, a resolution requesting the approval of authorize and the execution and delivery of a water project fund loan grant agreement by and between New Mexico Finance Authority and the Village of Angel Fire.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. And we'll turn the floor over to Julie Colon.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Council, Manager, Madrid, and Clerk Boggs. Before you have the resolution to enter into an agreement for a loan grant. This is for a water project for Tank 7, to complete Tank 7, to go from a 100,000 gallon tank to a 300,000 gallon tank. If we get these, well, we're already approved for the funds once you agree. Once we get these funds, we'll enter into, the bid process will begin immediately. And I'll stand for any questions that you may have.
Any questions?
Woman.
No, thank you. Keith?
Mayorperson Billingsley.
Aye.
Councilor Curry.
Aye.
Councilor Howell.
Aye.
Councilor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, we have the discussion approval of resolution 2023-55, a resolution authorizing participation in the Transportation Project Fund Program administered by the New Mexico Department of Transportation. Is there a motion, please?
Make a motion for discussion and approval of resolution 2023-55, a resolution authorizing participation in the Transportation Project Fund Program administered by the New Mexico Department of Transportation.
Second.
We'll turn the floor back over to our grant administrator, Julie Gould.
Okay, good evening again, Madam Mayor and Council, and Manager and Clerk. Before you have the resolution entered into an agreement with the New Mexico Department of Transportation for the TPF fund, this is project going to be the Valley Road, CES Road, and that intersection there where they have a drainage issue. We did receive funds for that. We'll get notice on the match waiver in November when the NMPPA has their meeting. And I'll stand for any questions you may have.
What all does this entail? I know it entails the drainage problem.
This part's construction, so we've already done the design, so we'll be fixing whatever drainage issue there is, whatever that construction entails.
So this would start next spring?
I'm assuming so, yes, sir. We'll hopefully go out to bid, this winter or early spring, so we can get the contractors lined up for spring start.
Thank you, ma'am. Keith?
Mayorperson Billingsley.
Aye.
Councilor Curry. Aye. Councilor Howell.
Aye.
Councilor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next, we have the discussion approval of Village of Angel Fire wastewater treatment facility improvements. Is there a motion, please?
Make a motion for discussion approval of Village of Angel Fire wastewater treatment facility improvement.
Is there a second?
Second.
We turn the floor over to Chris Chavez.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, Manager Majid, Clerk Boggs, I'm asking for the approval of $132,177 for the splitter box for the wastewater treatment plant. It's, this was not part of the $9 million project that we had. This came up after the fact. That splitter box has been there since 1998. So of course, parts are gonna fail on it. We need to rehab that splitter box. And it's controls where we can go to each basin. We have 2 basins and it'll control each basin if we want to put water in this one and on this basin. I stand for any questions.
No? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mayorperson Billingsley.
Aye.
Councilor Curry.
Aye.
Councilor Howell.
Aye.
Councilor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, we have the presentation, discussion, approval of construction agreement with Highland Enterprises through Cooperative Educational Services for South Angel Fire Road and Lakeview Park Drive street improvements. Is there a motion, please?
Make a motion for presentational discussion approval of construction agreement with Highland Enterprises through Cooperative Educational Services for South Angel Fire Road and Lakeview Park Drive street improvements.
Second,
Second.
and I'll turn the floor over to Bob Sherman of Litchfield. I think we're making adjustments so people can see what's on the presentation.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, and Clerk and Manager. My name is Bob Sherwin. I've had property here in Angel Fire for 20 years. We have the bridge to nowhere that people refer to behind the RV park. And we've developed a road technology since 2011. We're a Santa Fe-based company. CNBC named it as the biggest breakthrough. It's on a show called Advancements TV, the biggest advancement in infrastructure technology. We work closely with Los Alamos National Laboratories for the last 6 years. We have everything is white papered. We have 7 technologies, including, thank you, capping abandoned uranium mines on the Navajo Nation and Superfund sites. And but our road technology, what is unique about it is we take base course, which is sand and gravel that goes underneath all your roads, and we turn it into concrete. And so this is kind of heavy, so I won't send it around the room, but I think it will make its point. The other thing, so it handles unprecedented load bearing capacity. But the other thing is it's impervious to water. So when you have the monsoons and the winter snows, where the water gets to the underneath the golf course, Angel Fire has severe winters, and the frost heave and the freeze thaw is what gets underneath the road and causes all the damage in the springtime when it all comes apart. And so one of these samples is untreated and one is treated in about an hour. One's a pile of mud and the other one you can leave there for 2 years, or as long as you want, it's not gonna come apart. So we were approved this year by FEMA, and all the fires that were last year have all been spec'd for this technology. And the reason is they're gonna put $100 million back in replacing the base course. It's like an insurance policy. They put it back what was there, and as soon as the monsoons come, it's all gone. This is not gonna wash away. It will be in place and it's gonna last a long time. The other advantage that this product has is that we match the strength of asphalt. So when we put 6 inches underneath your road, it's like 6 inches of asphalt before you put any asphalt on top of it. So we can reduce the asphalt from what you've been doing from 4 inches to 2 inches, and you save 50% on the asphalt cost. And the other thing is the base course is very expensive here because you've got to bring it in from Taos or whatever. It ranges between $300,000 and $400,000 a mile. So we're a geotechnical company, and we customize our formula for whatever material that we're working with. And then we test it in advance, and I'll show you your test results on these 2 roads. So we know that it's gonna work before we go out there. We've got the results coming out of the lab. Now it's just execution in the field and working with the contractor to put it in properly. And we're there, our geotechs doing all the quality control and quality assurance during the installation as well, because we don't want a failure more than you don't want a failure, and we've never had one. So I'm gonna take you through this presentation really fast. And I know I'm kind of blocking people over here, so I'm just gonna stand here as I do this. The company is called Lithified Technologies, and it comes from a term in nature called lithification, which is how Mother Nature turns soil into stone. Sand turns into sandstone, clay into slate, and different kinds of materials with heat, pressure, and time coming together with naturally occurring minerals. And we're using these same naturally occurring minerals with accelerators that, instead of taking tens of thousands of years, takes 24 hours. And we have what we call nature's concrete. And we can do that with tremendous spectrum of materials. Like one of our other technologies is tying up mine tailings for Rio Tinto and Kaiser Aluminum, and that's one of the biggest problems, what to do with the tailings, and they couldn't get anything to tie them up, and we were able to turn it into something like this. So what you're looking at here is base course. The top 2 pictures, this picture right here is same, happens to be the same one, but that's what base course, when we take a diamond saw and cut it out of the road, it looks like that. And so we're able to do that with in situ soil and base course and mine tailings. So whatever's in your road, we'll customize it with 0 import, recycle everything in place, 0 hauling costs. That just saved $400,000, and then reduce the pavement in half. So instead of your $1.5 million a mile, we came in at 822. It's a 45% savings. That means you can do double the roads, and they're going to last. And so This is what happens with the little demonstration that we've got going on over here. And consequently, you won't have any potholes. If you could build roads on top of concrete, there would be no potholes because the way they're formed is the asphalt cracks, water gets in and erodes away the base course, creates a cavity, and the truck breaks off, there's nothing to support it. Well, here, there's no erosion, so there's no potholes. We don't have the cracking. And so tonight's vote has been 2 years in the making to get to this point. Some of you have seen this before. Mayor Nixon and Santos and Matt and Commissioner Curry, they've come to our lab, they've inspected the facilities. They've gone and seen roads in Utah and Blanding and Monticello because they want to see some in freezing temperatures. We did an installation a month or two ago with New Mexico DOT and Santa Rosa. They came to that. We've involved Tappan Mahoney and his company, and they've given it their blessings. So there's been a lot of work that's gone into it up to this point. 2 reasons that roads fail. The top 3 reasons is, one is insufficient load-bearing capacity. We have unprecedented load-bearing capacity. Instead of 25,000 PSI, which is base force, we take it to 500,000, 2,000 times stronger. We have the ability to take it to 1.6 million, but you're just spending money on a dosage you don't need at that point because the asphalt will wear out before the base does. So we just match the asphalt. We give you the strength that the asphalt is intended for 20 cents on the dollar. Asphalt is typically $10 to $15 a square yard per inch. Up here, it's like $13 to $15 a square yard per inch. We do it for $2 a square yard per inch. So it's more like 85% less, and reduce everything is white paper through Los Alamos. We just got approval. That's the hardest one to get in the country. It's a $12 billion a year maintenance budget. They are not members of AASHTO. They do their, and so that was a challenging one. And they did 3 years of testing, had to recalibrate their machines 3 different times. Said, we don't believe these numbers. Something wrong with our machines. They finally said, this stuff works. We need to approve it. Just got FEMA approval in June, and it's actually spec'd into these roads in our neighboring communities. 100% green. It's a 0 environmentally, and also has the ability to pass the environmental EPA. It's called the T-clip and the SPLP, but it's when you're dealing with toxic materials, we can encapsulate them like mine tailings and keep that from reaching out into the environment. This is a chip seal road. So I know you have a lot of gravel roads, and on your main thoroughfares, having asphalt is always the best, but we can do a lift tech road with chip seal on top, not like any chip seal road you've seen before, because the reason chip seal's gotten a bad rap is it's only as good as what's under, what it's on top of. And when it's only an inch thick and you have gravel that's gonna shift and move, it's gonna come apart on you. But this is the same as chip seal on top of asphalt, which is how they use chip seal today to extend the life of asphalt. So now you can have a road that lasts a long time. That's 65% less than asphalt. So now you can do 3 times the number of miles when you do it that way. Or if you do it with 2 inches of asphalt, it's 45% less than your traditional method of. Here's a road down in Roswell. It turned 5 years old in May. This is an extreme example of heavy weight loads. At the top of this road is a trucking company that's based there. That they have 900 to 1,000 40-ton trucks a day on this road. The DOT studies say that every one of those is equivalent to 10,000 automobiles. So this has had the equivalent of 9 to 10 million cars for 5 years, and it was underwater for a week. They got 15 inches of rain. There's not a pothole or a crack on it. And the chairman of the New Mexico Association of Counties, the co-chairman is Joe West, and the other one that just retired is Larry Moore. And they both fully endorse this. They've both done numerous projects. Larry's done 7 projects with us and has us speak at their conventions. And so they're the chairmen of all the counties. So Angel Fire, like everybody else, has more roads than budget. And so the whole goal is how do you get more mileage out of your budget and have the roads last so they're not falling apart on you. So what we do is, this is a typical section of road, is the asphalt's 500,000 PSI, the base course 25, the subgrade 1.5 inch minus is 10,000. And instead of just stacking asphalts thicker and thicker to carry the loads, they've doubled the prices in the last 2 years for the cost of oil going up. It's gotten so expensive. We're able to take what is per yard per inch down to $2. And then these are all approved alternate designs stamped by Arizona DOT, showing that you never need more than 2 inches of asphalt. I don't care if it's a freeway. In fact, I just got back from Texas, Odessa. There's State Highway 302 designed inches of asphalt. And after we tested, we can eliminate 9.5 inches of asphalt and go to 1.5 because we have the equivalent of 10 inches of asphalt. And all they need is the wear course layer, saving that project $20 million. So our pavements look like that. It's much thinner, but you got a thicker, more solid base underneath it that's gonna last. Water's not gonna get into it. And up here, you got the freeze thaw issues. That means it can heave 2 to 4 inches because it expands by 9 to 11% when water gets into it. We've passed all the freeze thaw studies. Normally it's at 300 cycles to freeze it thaw. They couldn't get it to 300 times. It wouldn't fail because there's no water in there to expand. So this is a road that Matt and Mayor Nixon and Santo, this is at 8,000 feet. They wanted to see one that's at your climate. And so this road is now 5 years old. They also walked another one that was at the landfill, the heaviest traffic road in San Juan County, is all the garbage trucks, and it had failed before with 4 inches of asphalt. We did chip seal, and that road's over 5 years old with no cracks and potholes. So what a lot of people do, or villages, and in your case, or counties or cities, when they have failing asphalt roads, they'll do this thing on the left, which they call mill and overlay. They just mill off 2 or 3 inches and put another couple inches back down. The problem with that is roads wear from the top, but they fail from the bottom. When you don't address what caused it to fail the first time, it's gonna happen again in 2 or 3 years. What we do is on these 2 roads that you're voting on tonight, we ground up the failing chip seal that was on them, or asphalt in one case, went right into the base, customized the formula to take it to 500,000 PSI, and then you just put the 2 inches of asphalt on top of it. And now you have a long-term solution, and it's better than it ever was when it was brand new. So we're a geotechnical company. We pull all the soil samples, we take it back to the lab, we run these tests: California bearing ratio, unconfined compressive strength, resilient modulus, gradation, plasticity, make sure that it's bound and non-dispersive underwater. And then you get a report. I'll show you your exact report here. But this is what's unique about your area that a lot of places don't face. 8,400 foot elevation, you have harsh winters, the freeze thaw can destroy roads within a few years. The remote location is high hauling costs. And the base course is 300,000 to 400,000 a mile. It takes 187 trucks to bring in a county standard 6 inches, 24 feet wide. We do it with 7 trucks. Think about the cost savings, not only in hauling, but in the greenhouse gases and so forth. This is a very green product. Snow plowing is gotta be careful if you have chip seal to have these little skids or 1/4 inch that go on the bottom of your blades. You're just skimming the surface and you never dig into the chip seal, and that road will last a very, very long time, and it's inexpensive to maintain chip seal. You don't touch it for 5 years, and then it's just a $5,000 a mile fog seal. At the end of 10 years, another layer of chip seal, about $45,000 a mile. Year 15, just a fog seal. Year 20, so every 10 years, just a layer of chip seal, and that road can go indefinitely if you just maintain the surface. So the advantage of LiftTech is we recycle everything in place, no import, 50% savings on the asphalt, 100% savings on the base course. We came in at $822,000 instead of 1.5 million. It's the equivalent of 8 inches of asphalt when it's all done, and total savings 45%. This is your actual test results. The most important ones are resilient modulus at the bottom. Asphalt's 500,000, you hit 791,000 on recycled material with no import. And on the other road, 796,000. Those are extreme numbers with not bringing anything in. So here's how the process works. You take a failing asphalt road. This is one we did for Blue Diamond Almonds in Northern California. And a reclaimer goes through and grinds up all that failing asphalt. A hose is injecting water at optimum moisture content. And the spreader truck puts down the Lith Tech. It looks like cement. It's lighter in color. It's lighter in weight. And then the reclaimer mixes all of that in. So it looks like it's come out of a blender. When it's all done, it's a perfect moisture content. And then our geotechs are pulling samples from right there, making sure that you're within 1% of optimum moisture content. That's really important. And that's part of our quality control. It's always built into every road that we do is that process. And so they're taking moisture readings and density readings and compaction readings, and you can have third-party geotechs out there comparing notes if you wish, but ours is all included. And then the sheep's foot gets the initial compaction in. Once it's compacted, the grader puts the crown in the road, flat wheel roller finishes it off, and then it looks like this until you put either 2 inches of asphalt or chip seal. In this case, it's chip seal, and that's the before and after. This was a 55% savings because they were going to be doing like 5 inches of asphalt, and we did chip seal, and their goal was to hit 3.1 million easels. It's a technical term that's 20-year haul road width, 5.4 million easels. Stands for estimated single axle loads. A lot of television stories on our website. I'll let you see those on your own time. And then the one that we're most proud of, and this was a year ago, January, named as best advancement in infrastructure in the United States. Only company named, and we got it for 2 technologies. One is for our banding raving lines, and one's for our roads. So with that, I turn it back over to you, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Morris, do you want to add anything on the staff? Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
No, Mayor, this process started before I came, but when I came, I didn't believe it.
Neither did you.
I didn't either.
Until I saw it, and I have seen it. And my nerd personality always tells me, let the data drive the decision. And I'm glad we're doing that. This is, if you all want to approve it, you are cutting edge, and I just want to congratulate you in advance.
I have a question if I may. First of all, I was sold on this the first time I heard your presentation. But what happens when, say, we have a water leak and we have to tear into that? How's it repaired? And does the village have the capability of doing that without any special equipment?
Yeah, so it's the same process as if it was asphalt. They use a concrete saw and they just cut it out and they lift out the asphalt. Our product comes in like 1-ton super sacks, or it can come in a pneumatic tanker. So if you had a 1-ton super sack sitting around and you needed any repairs, you just mix the product back in at optimum moisture content, and that's easy to tell. It's like when it starts to compact, it's not muddy, it's not pumping, and it's not dry and crumbling. And you just re-put apply that to the material that goes back in, and it reconnects and as hard as everything else around it, and then you just pay right over the top of it. It's a common practice that happens all the time.
What's the scope of this? Where is this going from and to?
They both start on 434 and go out about half a mile. The name of the streets are here.
Yeah, do you want me to? So it's on South Angel Fire Road from 434, and we walked it with the engineer and Bob and crews, and made sure that these 2 roads that we picked that were very heavy traffic could be used as a sample to make it through the winter, so we could all see for ourselves. So South Angel Fire Road from 434 up to the first intersection right past Wheeler Peak Lodge. And then Lakeview Park Drive from 434 down to the first intersection. It goes into the residential. That's the road going into Monterey Lake. Right.
You know, there's one other thing I left out that I think is important is the asphalt has installation requirements of being at 40 degrees and rising. And if we get the approval vote for this, this would start next Tuesday and probably be done by the end of next week. They'll go pretty fast. And so, but the asphalt, we're taking a risk to put the asphalt on because the nighttime temperatures are both dipping below freezing next week. So what we're recommending, and it's gonna be a good test for you to watch as well, is to just put a single pin chip seal over the top of it. Normally they always do 2 layers, but just a single pin to seal it and give you traction for the winter. Come back in the spring when the temperatures are warm and finish it off nice for you and not take any risk with something coming apart because of the temperatures. So that I think would be a wise decision, and you'll have a good road throughout the winter and have a minimum surface on it that you could watch as well. So.
Okay, thank you.
One more thing that I should have mentioned, Mayor, as you know, and Councilor Humbert, the Department of Transportation Commission held their meeting here a couple of weeks ago. And they love Angel Fire, and I think they're gonna give us a lot more attention. I did have a follow-up meeting with the commission chair and cabinet secretary, and the discussion was basically, I told them that I saw Guadalupe County, what they did out there. And it's kind of a pilot program for DOT now, because it's new technology, but their mixed design is in the process of being approved and should be included in next year's book of mixed designs. And I asked them, what are the chances of Angel Fire becoming part of that pilot project? And I did get a positive response. I don't have anything in writing, but we are going to host the NERCO meeting here this month. And through those relationships, we're gonna try and bring a lot more money for this type of project.
Let's see, one more time, that's free money.
Free money. And it's not legislative, it's administrative,
Yeah.
so the district can hand it out, and we're the support.
Manager, do you know if we have one of those rollers for the blade, for our plow blades? If we're gonna do the chip seal.
Oh, I'm sure we have at least a small one, maybe not a big steel wheel, but they're not expensive.
That's what we're
No.
Are you talking about the skids under there?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's just a little
Yeah.
cartridge thing that they mount on the bottom of the blade, so it just.
They're like little skis. So you don't, so the blade doesn't get caught.
Okay, I have a few questions. First, I want to say I believe in the product. My questions are more focused on the process and the paperwork. In the staff recommendation sheet, it talks about an agreement with Highland Enterprises through Cooperative Educational Services. Can someone explain what that means?
Sure. Cooperative Educational Services is an organization that was formed around school districts a few years back, because the Department of Education and all the school districts in the state did not have a central agency the way state agencies do, which is General Services. General Services has a state purchasing division that solicits vendors in all kinds of categories, from vehicles to plumbing to computers, so that they do that procurement process one time and everybody shares the benefit of those vendors. They get all this. Cooperative Educational Services is the same thing. They go through that every year. While it was intended for school districts, it's allowable for any state or local government in New Mexico. And that's what CES is.
So it's what we also call the state procurement list.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So of this 800 and some thousand, what's the breakdown between bond money and village money?
The general fund money will be 300,000. The bond will be 522.
Okay. So when you look at the proposal on page 1, it says that over 13,730 square yards of area. But I don't see anything in the proposal that delineates what roads are on it, where it starts, where it ends.
I don't think that they included it, Counselor.
I would think that should be in there.
Well, we can include it in our purchase order. They may have done that in case we changed our mind or move a location this way or that way. The quantities and the price will change.
It also says no materials testing is included as owner is providing.
Right, and that's being provided by this. Those lab and other tests are gonna be ongoing, and those are included in the price.
That's in the 800,
Yes,
okay? For the sum of 764,000 plus 57,000 and change.
Yes.
That 57,000 is,
New Mexico grocery receipt tax.
but then down on the next line, it says we exclude, comma, New Mexico gross receipts tax. And I don't understand the difference in the two statements.
Where's the weeds?
Right here. It's still on page one.
Right, it was excluded in the 764 and included in the 822.
Okay, that doesn't seem to be real clear.
I agree.
Who's monitoring the work for the village?
Well, we don't have a project manager per se. Of course, I'll be on site and I'll be able to tell whether they're doing it, that I've been a project manager before.
Right.
And really, the process itself builds in its own monitoring. For example, you saw a nuclear densometer in there.
Right.
Densities would be taken, samples of the material would be taken on an ongoing basis. There's really not a whole lot more to do except when the asphalt is laid, that we make sure that the asphalt complies with the lab testing. That's done off-site.
And who's gonna make sure that happens?
That I'll make sure happens. Because we work with our engineers on that. The provider of asphalt has to use a certified mix design that is approved by the state.
So how much will Dennis Engineering be involved?
Just in the testing,
And that's it.
yes. They were involved in the initial site visits. They reviewed all of the documents. They reviewed the methods of testing. And without their concurrence, I wouldn't have recommended moving on to the project.
So recently, we did a contract with Dennis Engineering, and I'm gonna read this, for the plan and design of Bill Burgess North Ancient Fire Road from Highway 434 to Vale Avenue. Has that occurred?
The plan and design,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's complete yet. I haven't seen a final design yet.
So this project is a part of that.
No,
No,
No.
no.
But no, it's not a part of the contract, but it's a part of the roadway.
no,
It's a different road.
Well, because this says this starts at 434. For Dennis
That's a different
Engineering.
road. That's different, we're talking about South End of Fire Road.
Well, I'm not sure what we're talking about because the proposal doesn't say.
It says it on the staff recommendation.
Well, I understand that, but that's not what we're signing with Highland Enterprises. So that's my issue legally.
Well, Counselor, I think the remedy to that is administratively, we name it on our purchase order, which we can do. And procedurally, the maker of the motion mentioned the 2 roads. And it's in the record and it's approved by the council. That's a remedy.
We call for a vote.
So you're asking us to approve this without it being complete.
No, I'm asking you to just specify the language so it'll be clear.
Well, you need to tell us specifically where we're starting, where we're ending on both roads.
They did say that earlier.
I explained it and we did read it here.
But you didn't tell me on the one down by the lake.
Yeah, it goes into the first section.
That it goes into the residential down to the first intersection.
What does goes into residential mean?
Down the road, all the road, just on the road, from 434 to the first intersection at Alpine Lake Way.
Okay, well, I want to see this written out so I can understand what we're saying.
The language would be beginning of project, which is normally VOP, 434, the end of project, which would be on either side, east or west. For South Angel Fire Road, it would be east for half a mile. VOP end of project, half a mile. For Lakeview Park Drive, beginning of project would be 434, end of project would be half a mile west. That's the way it would be defined on construction documents if we come to one.
I'd like to see all that included.
We'll include on the purchase order and that will be part of the public record.
Yes,
Thank you.
one more just real quick question.
Mhm.
So is the road gonna be, like, from wide, how wide is the road?
Help me, Bob.
Yeah, I believe it was measured at 24 feet.
24?
Yeah.
I mean, just doing the math, we're buying like a mile of road.
Yes.
Right,
Okay,
Right.
that's just being divided between the two locations.
that's correct. And then on South Angel Fire, it goes down to the real estate office. There is where it ends. And the road is gonna be 24 feet of lift deck and 22 feet of asphalt. And that gives you a 1-foot shoulder on each side. It will protect your edges and allow the water to shed off instead of having the edges break up.
Yeah.
Okay. Keith?
Mayor Pro Tem Billingsley.
Aye.
Councilor Curry.
Aye.
Councilor Howell.
Aye.
Councilor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
A second?
Second.
Call this meeting adjourned.